holy fuck. Like, I've never even thought about or like considered this. Have you ever seen anything like that on that side of politics or no?
I haven't, but I respect it. We need things to happen close to us in time, and we need things for us to happen close to us in space in order for us to understand consequences. It's a really important way that we learn. Dieting is really hard. It's because the reward is very far away from us. This is why it's easy to buy like materials that might have been made by slaves. Are you excited to be here? I bet it's the first time you're ever gonna see a girl in your fucking life, you sad incel pathetic fuck.
People even email me about that. They're like, hey, you gotta watch out for this guy. He shows signs of this, that, and this, and don't get too attached to him. I heard something really, really interesting on this podcast called Criminal. Long story short, on the podcast, they cover things that are like criminally adjacent. So maybe they'll cover somebody that committed a crime or somebody that had a crime committed against them, or and sometimes it's lame crimes too. Like maybe they put something out in their neighborhood and it's against the city code, but it was super helpful for the neighborhood. Like, and so they were interviewing this person who was a warden or superintendent or something of a prison system in a state where capital punishment was legal. And they had to, for the first time or something, figure out how they're going to carry this out. And there's no like rule book on it or whatever. They're the people in the jail who are meant to take care of these inmates every day and befriend them and be respectful to them are then also tasked with like having to kill these people. And one of the solutions that he suggested putting forward is in communities where this is something that is in the law books and is something that you really want to exact upon people, then we should, like the jury system, select citizens at random who will be trained on the task and will assist in the execution. And I was like, holy fuck, like I've never even thought about or like considered this, but that's a hell of a statement or a hell of a policy. Like, have you ever seen anything like that on that side of politics or no?
I haven't, but I respect it. It's like the Game of Thrones meme. Like if I pass the judgment, I swing the sword or whatever.
The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
I said this a long time ago, and I think people got mad. I think that people should be forced to watch like war gore videos and stuff. People screaming after getting shot, like people getting, I think all of that should be forced if you're going to vote in favor of like foreign like wars or intervention. I think that you should absolutely be forced to, because if you can't even handle watching something like that, I think that you are a despicable subhuman fuck for voting to engage other people with that type of behavior. I think you should be forced to do it. And if you can't handle it, you don't want to do it, then you are forced to vote no on those types of things. Because I super duper stand by that. It's also why I tell people when we watch like all the, the cop stuff, like I think it's good to watch videos on both sides, because this is like a sixth sense. I say that, but every human has it. There's a lot of things that I can feel when somebody starts talking. If I can feel like you have the experience to talk about what you're talking about, I know you know what you're talking about, because some things are very experiential. When it comes to like fighting in real life, like conflict, or when it comes to interactions with certain types of people, immediately you can tell like, oh, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You're super full of shit. And yeah, when it comes to like cops and robbers, to say it like, I guess, bluntly, when it comes to these types of interactions, I think people should be forced to watch videos on both sides, because I think it would round out the conversation better. You need to know what it looks like when, cops are beating the shit out of some dude on the ground, when he gets his fucking teeth knocked out, when a guy is getting tased or executed by the cops for no reason. You should watch that and you should get mad, and that should inform you when you think about like, what should these, police unions be allowed to do? What the fuck are we allowing cops to have these exclusive use on violence. Oh God, what am I thinking of? These monopolies on violence for, right? That should be things that you want. You should have that in your head when you think about stuff like that. But then on the flip side, you should also know, like, what does it look like when a cop is instantaneously losing his life and his family is now fucking orphaned because he gets killed at a traffic stop? Or what does it look like when a seemingly innocent, well-meaning guy, he needs a minute. Oh, and he just pulled out a gun and he shot and killed 2 officers that were just there for a routine traffic stop. Like, you should know both sides of it. And because I think that the experience will round out the prescriptions that you give, instead of being so fucking radical on one side where it's like, dog, you need to back the fuck up because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You are so out of line right now.
Along those lines, I've considered that maybe everybody, whether it's in school or what, should have to do a ride along with the police. Because I feel like that's another experience where you have a newfound sense of respect and you're not as ignorant as to like what the day-to-day routine of a police officer is if you do a ride along and if you have the opportunity to like see what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. I think that's like another powerful experience we could probably give to a lot of people in our communities as well.
Yeah, for sure. Could be, yeah.
I think I saw, whether it was Lycan or Pisco, I'm not sure, but one of them talked about this police video, and they said this is what happens when you make laws that like criminalize something about tobacco or something like that. People were complaining about how this officer was like manhandling someone in an arrest, and they mentioned something along the lines of like, well, if you make that a consequence of that law, then you should realize that, yeah, it's dumb that all this had to happen over something so simple, but you as a community voted that into law, and you made that a consequence, and maybe you should be confronted with what it means to make that a consequence for people. Maybe you should think about that. And I think it wasn't received super duper great, and I really wish I could remember which of those dudes it was, but
yeah, I mean, I think I would largely agree. Yeah, people need to be. I think that there's time and space. We need things to happen close to us in time, and we need things for us to happen close to us in space in order for us to understand consequences. It's a really important way that we learn, like on a biological level. When things happen that are further off in time, or when things happen that are far away in space, it's much harder for us to draw associations. So this is why, for instance, like dieting is really hard. It's because the reward is very far away from us. Or this is why it's easy to buy like materials that might have been made by slaves, because they're like really far away from us in space, right? We don't see them, right? So I think that like the forcing people to be more like immediately confronted with things can help them like make better opinions or ideas about it. I think that's how I feel about that.
yeah. Like if they had, oh man, this would be propaganda and we could probably never make it work in like a just way. But like if there was like a TV screen or something, like with a loop of like what the consequences or what the different bills that we're voting for at the ballot box like do, I feel like that would be so helpful, because I've talked to people like in front of and behind me in line to vote, and they had somebody else fill out their ballot, or they just voted one way or the other, and it's like, I don't know. I wonder how many people that would catch to just like, oh shit, I didn't know that one meant this. Like I'm gonna fucking erase that and put another thing in, or I'm gonna vote different. Like, wonder how many people you could catch if you just gave them that information right there at the ballot box, as well as like on the TV and stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Or to realize that something on the TV was incorrect, because it seems like there's a growing issue where people are buying political ads and they're not telling the truth on them because it's worth it to take the hit in terms of fees or anything else, relative to what you're getting out of it, and misinforming the public. Homelessness is another one where it's like, I don't think people understand what that experience is like. And maybe it would be helpful that more people, like, we pick one of the hottest days of summer and we pick one of the coldest days in winter, and you have to go live that. Like, what is it like to be outside with like nothing but a tent? Like, how much does a tent really offer you in terms of security or protection or feeling good? Like, because some people have just fucking dumb ass ideas. Like, I've talked to people that have like dead ass thought that like a tent provides much more than it actually does. Like, never been fucking camping, never even thought about like what it would be like to be a homeless, but like they have such wrong ideas that I feel like would be immediately corrected by having to go through something. I would vote on something that forces random people to go through shit like that. I would, in an instant.
Yeah, I say the same about like having like service jobs and shit too. Yeah.
Like, there should be a cost to passing a law where like, if you voted yes on this, you're entered into a lottery where you're gonna have to fucking be impacted in some way by this thing that you're about to enforce on everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can usually tell by the way that people treat like servers and shit, whether they've had to work like a service job before, or how like quickly impatient they lose their shit on people or whatever.
Yep. Why doesn't this person come by and fill my cup? Are you paying attention to what they're doing, dude? They got like 8 tables. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And what's funny is they'll notice both at the same time. I'm not getting the service I want, and this person is running around like a madman, and they just don't put 2 and 2 together. And I don't know.
Dude, you develop a weird sense for which customers. Oh God, I don't know how many restaurants this can happen at. One of my worst feelings is somebody comes up hello, I would like steak and eggs. I want that steak extra well done. Eggs over medium, white toast. Like, okay, maybe. Somebody comes up behind them. Hi, could I get like a ranch salad? And you're like, sure. Somebody runs out the ranch salad like a minute and a half later. And then you see the other person sitting at the table. They watch that salad go by. They look back up at the window. And then they stand up. They start walking towards you. And it's like, this dumb motherfucker is about to come up and fucking complain that their well-done steak is going to come out after the person after them ordered. That's what's about to happen, isn't it? And they do it. And they walk up and it's like, I was here before that person. I noticed they got me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? God, I hate customers. Oh, fuck.
It's no good. I don't know. I don't know if your experience is that rich people are worse than poor people. I've only worked in like upper class restaurants, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's a special kind of privilege with those folks.
I don't know if it's the same in your case, but in my personal case, the wealthiest people were always so unbelievably fucking nice. It was the tier right beneath them that were the nastiest motherfuckers in the world. I don't know why. There were 4 levels at the Horseshoe Casino that we had recognized. You had gold members, which were shitter noobs. You had, you had like the baseline, I think was silver. No one cares. You've got gold levels that are like whatever. Then you've got your diamonds. And then you've got your 7 stars. 7 stars, they knew everybody at the casino. They were so nice. They were blah, blah, blah. But man, dude, those diamond customers, god damn, were they fucking so much like pieces of shit. They felt so entitled. They were so fucking rude. When you had a 7-star customer, you had to prioritize them or anybody. And oh my god, dude, if you had diamonds in line and a 7-star cut you off, there was always a fight. There was always going to be a fight. When diamonds are like, why do I get cut? Why is this part? Well, shouldn't I go over there? Blah blah blah. Oh my god, they would lose their shit. But yeah, I don't know if that holds up in every area, but it was never like the wealthiest that were the worst. It was the one level beneath them that I guess felt like they were entitled to that respect. Oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, anytime we had famous people in, they were completely respectful and really, really cool. Like we've had like TV people and like movie star people come in and it's like, they're really chill, but I don't know. Some people you can tell that they're wealthy because they dress like it and they communicate it and that's how they're talking to the people at their table, but they're kind of really rude.
Yeah, for sure.
Or they think that throwing money at somebody makes everything okay. Like I've bought the ability to treat you however I want for the next hour. Yeah. And I hope you understand that. Like,
I think I've told this story on stream before. This was really funny to me. There was we were at Din Tai Fung, which is an awesome restaurant for dumplings, and there was a table next to us. And I think these must have been YouTube people or something, because they talked important, they acted important, they talked about their Instagrams, they talked about other shit, blah blah blah, and they were kind of rowdy, a little rude. Server would come by, they'd like whatever. They were just kind of like assholes. I could tell these were asshole people, and I felt so cool. It was me. I think I was in my sweats because that's what I dressed up everywhere, eating with 2 wonderful ladies. And when we finish our food, we get up, somebody comes up to me and the guy was like, oh my God, like I didn't want to say anything while I was your server or whatever because I'm trying to be professional, but you're Destiny, right? Can I get a picture? And everybody at that table was so jealous. I could tell. They all looked at me and they were like, oh, what? Who's this guy? I was like, oh my God, I felt so fucking big. I was like, yeah. And I fucking left. Fuck the Instagram influencers, okay?
Do you ever get weirded out or afraid that people notice you in public and they don't approach you?
I think sometimes it happens. I'm still like flattered. I think it's funny. I don't know. I think it's cool.
Because I've hung out with Tumad before, and people kind of recognize who Tumad is from YouTube. And I've definitely noticed that people can tell who he is, but they don't want to come up, and it's a little bit weird. I feel like if I were in that position, that would be something on my mind all the time. But maybe it's just like an anxious thought that doesn't really manifest once you're there.
Yeah, the thing that I've learned the most is people have no idea how loud they are when they whisper. You guys all like be standing surrounded, I'll hear behind me, like, Destiny. People have no idea how fucking loud they are, and it's like, yeah, hey, hello.
Do you ever like then jump in and go, hey, I'm Destiny, I know you're talking about me, or do you just like
I'll usually like eventually I'll make eye contact. People are usually really obvious, like it's just usually pretty obvious. Yeah. You can just tell.
Because I feel like you can make people's day like that too, and that's a whole other dimension to it, I'd imagine, where like you know that if you say something, that's going to be like one of the coolest things that could happen to that person today, probably. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
like I saw that a lot in Georgia. Everybody really lit up when they even got like a moment of conversation with you, and it was like really nice to see.
Yeah, I think that's cool that I'm like a random dude on the internet. Well, I'm not random, I'm a fucking god. But like I'm basically a random guy on the internet, and I can have like such a impact on somebody's day. And then like the cost benefit is always like really positive to have those interactions. Like it costs me almost nothing to like stop and say hi and chat with somebody for like 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes is long depending on how many people there are. But if other people, it's like a really, really big payoff for them.
Now, are you ever concerned about making the jokes that you make to these people and not knowing how they'll take it, or do you
Wait, what do you
think
mean by that?
Sometimes you get a bit roasty in public, right? Like you'll roast people that are talking to you or something. Like you'll say a joke at their expense or something like that. So far, so good.
Not much with strangers unless I've got a really good feeling, because because that's scary. You don't want to like accidentally like destroy somebody's fucking world. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's very rare that I'll like if I'm ever making a joke like that, it's gonna be a very, very, very gentle joke. It'll be like a dad joke, like, oh, look who decided to show up, blah blah blah. If somebody's like a couple minutes late, it'll be something like that. I'm not gonna see like a random dude and it's like, holy shit, man. Like, are you excited to be here? I bet it's the first time you're ever gonna see a girl in your fucking life, you sad, incel, pathetic fuck. Like, I'm never gonna like do that to like a fucking stranger or whatever. That'll never happen. Yeah.
Incel's one of the ones I was thinking about. That's like people get real upset, or they can if you call them that, and that's one that I've learned I need to be more careful about.
Well, it can imply a lot. It's a very loaded word.
I thought it was like weeb. Like, I don't know.
It's a very, very loaded word. Yeah.
Because I've started to learn by... I'm trying to do what you do a little bit, bro, with the roast and the chatters, just because they fucking deserve it sometimes, and it's fun, and it makes funny content. But getting DMs from people that are like, damn, bro, what you said today really hurt my feelings, or you didn't need to go that hard, or whatever, like, makes me worry a little bit about, like, crossing a line there. But I wonder how you, like, navigate that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a skill. You have to learn it, but you get like an affinity for it as you're roasting people. Like different people can handle different things. There are some insults that like you should probably always stay away from unless you know the person really well. It's not going to be a perfect process. Like you're going to mess up every now and then, and you just have to apologize or move on from it. Yeah.
What are some of the ones that you've like learned or had to learn the hard way, so maybe I could avoid them?
I don't think I make those profiles as much anymore. I was under the assumption a long time ago, if you were a porn star, you're probably hard as fuck. Because damn, you must deal with so much crazy shit on the internet. So I assume that like, if you're a porn star, you can take a lot of abuse. That's crazy. And there was a friend that I had a while ago that worked in adult entertainment. She was a porn star. And I remember we were on stream and she was having computer issues. And I made some comment where it was like, damn, I guess women really don't know shit about computers. And she started crying. And that was so fucking awkward. I was like, oh my God. That's one that I learned. I think there are some general things that most humans don't like feel okay about. Like it's very rare, unless I know somebody very intimately, that I'll ever make fun of like somebody's appearance. Unless it's something I know they don't care about. But there are like some obvious general things that like, if somebody's overweight, I'm not going to call them like a fat fuck as a joke over and over again. Like that's something that I'll probably just never touch that, because usually people just feel like shit. Even if people laugh about stuff like that, usually they'll feel like shit.
Unless it's Greek, of course, right?
No, I never do unless it's only when Greek opens up on me. If Greek opens up on me, remember, I do the match the energy. If somebody opens up on me with something, I'll match the level of debauchery they want to go to.
You're Batman. I forgot.
Yeah. So if Greek, usually it'll be almost all of our insult things have started with Greek saying some shit about me. And they go, all right, Greek, if you want to do it, like, let's talk. And then it'll go to there. Yeah. Although we haven't interacted in a long time.
Yeah. You guys are fun to watch interact. It kind of feels similar to me to like when you and
Lily?
No. The chess. The woman that plays chess.
Alexandria Botez.
Yes. When you two bicker back and forth, oh man, that's like, That's really, really good. I miss seeing more of that.
I had long, healthy relationships, okay, with people who were in the same location and not in another continent.
Really? I didn't know we were counting family now.
Aw, at least I didn't cheat on my significant others.
Well, that's easy to do when nobody's interested in you.
No, I'm just a nice, faithful human being. Something you could take notes about, Destiny.
That's good. If I was you, I would need faith in God to get through every day.
Okay. Now we're going.
I know she's got her own stuff going on, but I hope you guys get to interact again.
Yeah, maybe someday. I think she was trying to go like the very, very big like brand safe route, which I don't blame her. But yeah, I'm pretty hard to be compatible with that. But yeah, she's definitely like a fun person to go back and forth with because she can get really brutal. It's very rare to find those people that have like almost nothing that will like actually trigger them. And when you can find those people, you can just go to the depths of hell, which is in an entertaining way, which is fun.
Yeah, you're like Rock Lee taking off those weights.
Something maybe, yeah, yeah. Because the internet used to be a way, way, way different place. You know this, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it used to be a way different place. Oof.
I feel like anonymity helps that. When I don't know who the fuck you are and you don't know who the fuck I am, I feel like that creates a different thing than what streamers have, which is another weird thing I've had to like learn about. Which you may not have because you've been doing this, as far as I understand it, like a very long time, at least doing professional video games and stuff too, right?
Yeah, like 12 years almost, I think.
Fuck. What's your take on like removing anonymity from platforms like Twitch on the internet? Are you like for that or against it, and like why?
It depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm for it because fuck you. I get held accountable for every single fucking thing I say and do, and it's not fun for me to be held accountable, having to fight against people that aren't held accountable. It's a huge imbalance of power. So fuck you. Post your name and address if you want to talk shit. We'll see how confident you are in the online arena, the world of ideas. But realistically, it's probably good to be somewhat anonymous, like because people will try to like fucking cancel people and hunt down their jobs and shit, and that shit will get crazy probably. So.
It may sound yikers, but I think having like different classes of citizens or users in that regard may be like a good compromise to have, because I see a lot of benefit for having users that are on that playing field. And they, I think, moderate their behavior and are more respectful because of it. Like I've heard Disguised Toast talk about that with his shift over to Facebook. Yeah.
I felt the same when I started doing YouTube, and I could click through people's like YouTube histories and look their uploads and shit. It's very different when you get to see, or at the very rare case, I can't do this anymore because I'd probably get banned from probably for fucking life. But like when people would go hard on Twitter and they would have their LinkedIn or something connected, like there are multiple Twitter accounts that I would force to be deleted back in the day because after I found the real life info, it was way too easy to just totally dig into this loser's fucking life. Because most of the people that engage in those types of like really nasty, mean insults online, most of them are fucking losers. And like once you get the real life information, shit is over, and they can't stand to that pressure for 2 seconds. That's why everybody that I quote tweet, people call me like a gusano worm fuck, and then I'll quote tweet them and start bullying them, and they private their whole account in an instant. They can't handle one fucking quote tweet, but they have no problem piling on with the 10,000 other people that every single fucking day are trying to get you to kill yourself. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much sympathy for those types of people, but it's probably good to have some form of anonymity.
Why fishes swim in schools, you know? They just, yeah, there's something to that. Because I've also heard I'm Really Important talk about that as well, wishing that maybe the users didn't have anonymity anymore, or at least that was an option that you could turn on for the channel.
Yeah.
And I could see that. Like, I'm not sure if that's like a creator-specific opinion, because I could see the users wanting something different for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no,
but
every creator would be in favor of that, to know exactly who is like fucking with you in a certain way, because it's just, yeah, 100%. Every creator would be in favor of it. But like users, obviously, for good reason, probably wouldn't want that.
If there were some kind of platform where that was one of the main selling points, would that be something to like convince you to use it, or no?
No, because nobody would be using that platform, probably.
That's a good point. I still wish you would have fought me harder on that Crowder take, because I really do feel like you seemed like you were set up to be able to argue against it, but because I didn't answer your cop question the way that you were anticipating, we couldn't have a conversation about it.
What do you mean?
So regarding those takes that I made on stream, I feel like you could have argued against them more, even with the answer that I gave about the police impersonating other people question.
Well, it felt to me like we probably largely agree. The only thing we disagreed about was just how personalized that situation was. Because I think I said, and I think I even said after we were done talking, like most of the general rules that you had for how you would treat people or how you think people should treat each other for those things, I agreed, I think, with most of the general rules. But I thought that there was a lot more specific context to this, that if you'd had known it, maybe you'd think otherwise, or that was my impression at the time. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that.
I mean, like, I feel like even if I took what you said for granted, I'm not sure that, I just don't see how that automatically makes you, like, forget all of your other opinions about, like, whether or not it's okay to be ambushing this guy in that way. But
well,
I also
remember,
start from
again,
that empathy thing.
yeah, I start from who started it. That's always the case with me. And I understand, remember, it's no one else does this. But like, as soon as I see somebody say some shit, like that guy called that dude, like, oh my God, he made fun of the fact that his parents were dead and then he called him a racial slur or whatever. My first question is, wow, really? What'd the other guy say? Did he say something first? Because that's what I want to know. Because a lot of the times you'll find somebody did some fucked up shit, but then when you find out the shit they did to them, it's like, fuck it, man. Like he jumped into the mud pit, like he got dirty. Fuck it. I don't have any sympathy for that dude. So I'm like really big on finding out like who started what first. Because and I think that it used to be more the Ronin way, the samurai way, or whatever the fuck you would call it, where people did that kind of back and forth on the internet. But now you've just got, well, this is bad and you should never do it. I guess you can see artifacts of still in my behavior. They shouldn't be there, but like this came out a lot during the Demonmama shit, about when she posted that thing bitching about like, oh, somebody made fun of me on 4chan or whatever. It's like, man, did you, I wonder if you posted that yourself or whatever, right? This motherfucker makes up lies about me all the fucking time. Like, I don't care, like throwing a little bit of shade, but I obviously for rhetorical and optical reasons, it doesn't look good or whatever. But like, if somebody else told me about that, my advice would probably be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that because it looks bad, but yeah, fuck them, I'm not gonna like sit here and chastise you for it. Like if the other person wanted to roll around first, then yeah, fuck it. I get what's coming to them.
Still so confusing to me. So you knew you were lying and you're just okay with lying? Like,
I didn't know if it was true or not. It's just some shit that somebody would say. Like there's like a meme with 4chan posts where whenever somebody links a 4chan post and they're like, oh my God, look at what was said, but it'll be like in some thread with like 2 replies. I'm like, dude, this is your post. Everybody knows you're linking your own post to get engagement. Like, fuck. Like, everybody knows, right? So, like, anytime I see somebody link a thread where they're like, oh my God, like, look at this evil thread that I found about me. It's like, did you post it? I don't know. Maybe you did. I don't actually know. She probably didn't. Maybe she did. Maybe someone else did, but I don't know. But there was like enough doubt that I could be like, fuck you or whatever. Because this is like a person that like openly accuses me of being transphobic and has lied about like my community making transphobic comments. It's like, I don't really give a fuck at the end of the day.
But not giving a fuck and going out of your way to lie seem like 2 different levels of a similar like emotion or take on a person, which is why I guess I'm confused by it.
Well, when I say not giving a fuck, what I mean is I don't give a fuck to provide any type of like consideration to treating them like I would like another person that I would respect, just like a person or whatever.
To kind of figure this out a little bit better, so you came up with some interesting thing to say in your mind, which is something you've seen said at other people, that maybe they're making up this thread, and like what was the timing between coming up with that idea and then tweeting it?
Like 2 seconds. I literally saw something on Twitter and I just tweeted. It was like, it wasn't like this huge, like premeditated, like, I found the best, most optimal form of misinformation. I saw somebody crying about a 4chan thread. I was like, crying about a 4chan thread. I wonder if you posted it, motherfucker. Like literally that was it.
Okay.
I never claimed that somebody can find my exact tweet. I don't know what it was. I don't think I said anything like, I have information that she posted this tweet, like blah, blah, blah. I don't think I ever claimed any shit like that.
No.
That would be incredibly stupid of me to say because there's no way it's 4chan.
It just seems so like I know you're not a guy that cares about rhetoric or optics or whatever, but it seemed like you had nothing to gain. Like nobody was gonna like this except for like.
Well, yeah, I know it was funny because I knew it would trigger the fuck out of anybody that would read it. That's what I have to gain. Some funny shit. People get mad as fuck. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they'll be like, man, maybe the next time I go to make up a huge fucking lie about Destiny, that felt really bad when he lied about me, so I'm not going to do it. Maybe they'll think that. Or, maybe the cycle of violence will be perpetuated forever. Who knows?
You've inspired me to troll on Twitter a little bit. I think I got a good plan. It's not being an asshole the way you're an asshole, but I think there are ways of like feigning ignorance about things or like wording things in a very particular way to invite like reactions the way you do with some of your stupid fucking tweets.
God, my tweets are so good. They're not stupid. They're all on point. That's why people get mad. People call them stupid and they'll say, Destiny, you don't mean this. You're gonna walk it back. But in reality, people will come on, I'll explain it, and I'll defend the exact original tweet. And then somehow people later be like, oh, he walked that one back. But when they say walk back, what they really mean is, oh, he acknowledges that the way he originally said the tweet was kind of mean. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. Fuck you.
I mean, it seems like you do purposely keep out like half a point or two from the tweet, knowing that you're going to pull that out once you talk to the person. That's going to be all it takes to like flip it in your favor.
It's like, it's not really that much. People think it's like a really cerebral process about baiting people online. It's more just like, I'll give enough of the take that like anybody that's not a brain dead fuck will know exactly what I'm saying. But knowing the types of people that'll read it, there's probably like a bunch more context that I would have to provide. But like, I'd rather just give the obvious take. And if somebody wants to fight me on because I'm not like giving 7,000 layers of fucking qualification, oh, well then they can hop on and look like a dumb fuck. That's how I do it, fuck it.
I don't know. It feels like you captured some captured Nazi UFO that had like how to do propaganda and how to do dog whistling, and you like copied it and like reverse engineered it for your silly Twitter takes. Because it does feel like you say something to where like the people in the know will know what I mean by this, but the people that don't will hate it. Like, I don't know. It seems like you've reworked that in a very particular way.
Well, the people that know. What do you want me to say?
Okay.
What am I supposed to say, man? It is what it is.
Don't be a dumb fuck and you'll get it.
Just don't be a dumb fuck. Yeah, true. See, you get it. There you go.
Do you worry though that contributes to like an echo chamber of people that will like get, quote unquote, get what you're saying even if there's nothing to get? Like they just agree with what you're saying because they come up with some convoluted way of agreeing with you?
Yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, there are people that will, I know that happens. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if there's anything to do about that. I'm trying to go over, when we haven't talked about issue lately because I've been playing a league, but I'm trying to incorporate more like, fuck, this is stupid. If we're going over a topic, I'm gonna lay out my whole thought process on it so that people know where I'm coming from, so that they can copy the thought, because I don't care if people copy my thought process. I don't like it when people just copy my takes. Because my audience can be really tribalistic too. I think I memed them the other day where we started watching a clip of like Hassan on some show, and I think everybody was like roasting Hassan, and then I paused and I was like, man, what the fuck is Hassan talking about? And then everybody started piling on him. And I was like, I don't think Hassan said anything wrong. You guys are fucking stupid. Like, people will just shit on Hassan because it's Hassan without actually thinking about what he's saying, which is annoying. I mean, yeah, I do that every now and then because people will just like blindly like hate on some person because they're not on our team or whatever.
Or they copy your arguments, but they don't really get how they work. Like, I saw that a lot with this Crowder thing. Like, oh, you guys think that like this inconsistency rule set thing is like working for you, but these ideas like aren't connecting. Like, you're taking like random parts of an engine and putting them together and thinking it'll run, but you don't understand any of what you just did, and you just look very silly.
Kind of, yeah. Or like when like, we should be careful about the types of things that we joke about or what the punchlines of our jokes are. Like, that's probably good advice. Did you see when Lance brought up my Holocaust joke?
Uh-oh, no. What Holocaust joke did you make?
It was like, Bad Bunny tweeted something unbelievable. It was like, we need to get, I don't want to misquote it.
The final solution thing?
Yeah. I think she literally tweeted something where it was like, we need to abolish the Jewish state or something. It was like unbelievable. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and my quote to you was like, oh, looks like you're looking for a final solution, huh? And then Lance brought that up and he's like, look at this, Destiny. You joked about the Holocaust. I'm like, what the fuck? This, like, I'm making fun of people that are like, that are like unironically suggesting a Holocaust. Like, this isn't that type of joke, you know? But he didn't seem to be able to understand that at all. What did I say to Bad Bunny? I don't know. What did I say?
You said that we should call this the final solution. When she said that, she tweeted out that horrifyingly, like, why would you ever tweet abolish Israel? Like, fucking understand optics at the very least, or explain more.
You realize, because I'm making fun of her there for sounding anti-Semitic.
Absolutely you are, but you're making a Holocaust joke in the process.
Hold on.
Yeah, but he's also...
Yeah, I know. I try not to be as mean to him because I think he is kind of special.
I think that's my holy crusade I'm going to go on, because I've talked to a lot of streamers and nobody believes me, and I feel like I will argue that till the cows come home, that he is either dumb or he is bad faith. It's got to be one or the other.
I don't know if he's bad faith. I think he's just, he's...
Oh, then he's dumb.
He's special, all right? He tries. Which is more than most people can say, all right?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I know you got a thing with Lance, so I don't mean that.
Well, technically, you're agreeing with me right now, so why do I care? That's good. We're gonna hate Lance together.
I don't think that you really hate Lance. I don't think you hate Lance.
I don't hate very many people. I don't even know if I hate Bob Sim anymore. It's really, really hard for me to get. But I think it's just because of the type of view that I have of like people in general. Like, I don't think most people have like the emotional depth necessary to like be truly evil or horrible. I think that generally, I think most people are just pretty selfish, and they usually do things where they're just like very self-interested. And I think that like the types of things that people that do that are like rude or mean to me or fuck me over are like pretty predictable at the end of the day. It's not like a huge fucking surprise.
But optically, I wonder if you've realized that people don't stomach that perception of things very well, because you had like, I want to say it was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a whole thing where you were going to return back to like the foundations of your beliefs and how you view the world and bring those up each time that you would give a take. But I feel like, and maybe this is a stretch here, but you kind of realize that can like turn people off from whatever the end take is, because they disagree with some of those fundamentals in a way that most of your audience that's bought into it already is not.
I don't know. Just it really depends on. That's a hard one. I don't know. I have to be really careful how I present some of my fundamental views, because people get really weird about my wording. And some of it has gotten just really annoying. So like I describe like most forms of interaction as like transactional, and as soon as I used that word gets thrown around so much with people just having the dumbest understanding possible of it, and it's hurt more than it's helped like elucidate any of my positions. So like yeah, I don't know.
And I don't know if this has something to do with it, but my understanding is like when people are consoled about people that have wronged them or treat them the wrong way or a bad partner and things like that, a lot of the time that transactional relationship thing is used as like a point against that person. And I wonder if like you hit that negatively at any point in your life where it's described as a negative thing and they probably immediately think that about you.
Sure, and I mean it sounds bad depending on how you like phrase it. Like, oh, transaction, are you like keeping track of every single time? Which you shouldn't be, by the way. That's really toxic for any relationship, and of course I would acknowledge that. But yeah, but sometimes I think I've said this before, but like, I think the way that I process things emotionally is a little unique sometimes, and it took me a long time to learn that. I've said this before a lot on stream. Like part of the process of humbling myself is kind of thinking that like I don't think I'm very unique. I think everybody's more or less the same. I think everybody can do the same things. And it took me a while to realize like, okay, actually I think the way that I think about some things is actually pretty unique, and I need to be careful when I talk about some things, because there are some forms of advice that I give, and there are some like things that I say that are kind of irresponsible, because not everybody can handle these things in the same way that I can. And then like, for instance, like there are a lot of people that watch me now that do like open relationships and shit. And I see a lot of this happening, and a lot of these are just disasters waiting to happen. Like this is not something for everybody to just hop on and try because you saw like your favorite streamer friend try it. Like this is like a pretty challenging thing for most people. Even for me, it can be challenging sometimes, or at least, well, definitely for my partners. But so yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's hard to keep all this shit in mind sometimes.
No, I don't think I've ever been in like a formal open relationship where we're both on the same page about it.
Okay, hold on. What you just described, that's cheating then. Okay.
Well,
if one of you is in an open relationship and the other one doesn't know, that's called cheating. But good.
Uh-oh. No, now I got to confront this. No, it's more so that like if you know that other person is going on a trip or something, maybe you know that like that's okay if they're with somebody else, but it's never really something you guys talk about. It's just something like you see pictures, you know what there's somebody else, but you don't feel like it's as big a part of the relationship to need to talk about or anything. I don't know if
okay, hold on, you're being incredibly vague. I don't know what you're talking about. Like literally just seeing a picture with somebody or knowing that they're like fucking that weekend. I don't know the extent
to which it would go, but that was a two-way thing where both of us would know that the other person is probably seeing other people, particularly when we're not like with each other. But it was just something we never really had a discussion about necessarily.
Okay, we need to use real words here because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay, I need specific questions. What's the question here?
When you say you two were also seeing other people, do you mean seeing and fucking other people?
Yeah, just fucking, not like, okay, this is my boyfriend as well, or this is my girlfriend as well.
Wait, but you never explicitly discussed it?
No, not really. Like, we would have both asked at some point if like, oh, did you sleep with that person? And then it was just cool, so it was never really talked about.
Oh, well, hey, if everyone's cool with it, then fuck it, huh?
I wonder, though, I don't know if the other person was cool now that I think about it, because I never really asked them specifically. They didn't.
Wait, hold on, what do you mean? You just said you talked about it, but now you're saying you didn't ask them.
Well, nothing came up. Like they weren't upset, so I presume that means that they're okay with it. But maybe that's wrong on my part. If they're doing the same thing, I just didn't feel the need to like discuss it too much.
Okay, I have no idea. I would say that to do any type of like open relationship thing probably requires an abnormal amount of communication, like more so than like any normal relationship.
So would you say it's like a harder level of relationship than being with a single person? Like it's like with being with a single person but multiplied, or?
I think
because that was my
think
initial question.
Every relationship is hard, and I think every relationship has issues that have to be worked through. I'm very uncomfortable saying like this relationship is harder than another, because for me, a monogamous relationship is a harder relationship. I could never fuck one person for the rest of my life. I could never do it. I'll cheat every time. I can't. I've already done it. That's why I don't do close relationships anymore. So like for me, the problems that come along with an open relationship are going to be easier to deal with than anything that would come up in a monogamous relationship, because I can't do a monogamous relationship, right? So that's what I mean when I say that. Yeah. So like, I mean, like every type of relationship is going to have challenges. An open relationship should be something that you do because you both want to do something. You shouldn't do one to escape responsibility or challenges, because you're still going to have responsibilities and challenges just like you would in any relationship. An open relationship isn't to make things easier. It's just a different type of relationship. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Wait, what the fuck? Who thinks about it as you're doing it to escape responsibilities? Are there really people that believe that?
Well, I'm sorry, that was the phrasing that you used when you're like, oh, like, is it like easier or something? Or harder, like makes it sound like, I don't know, that's kind of the impression that I got, is whether it's just like, I mean, like there's still gonna be like conversations and challenges and everything associated with it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because I just take like the normal relationship experience of like forming a bond with somebody and learning about them and being invested in their life and their success and stuff, and multiplying that by like that many people and having, being accountable to that many people. It seems like it would just get harder, but I don't know if that's the experience or not.
Oh, maybe. I guess I never have truly done like an open or poly relationship. I just like to fuck people and have like multiple like quasi-romantic relationships, so.
Oh, is that poly then? Is poly where you're like...
If a poly person were to ask me what types of relationships I do, I would say I do open relationships. But if an open relationship person were to ask me, I would say that I do poly relationships. So I'm very much like, I very much like lots of sexual experiences with lots of different people. That's something that is just very important to me. I'm whatever you want to call it, nympho or sex addict or whatever. I'm very much into that. However, I don't really like one night stands that much, and I like to have like a closer like emotional connection with people that I hook up with. So like for that, like it's a little bit more than an open relationship. But in terms of like, is it like a poly relationship? Like I don't really even have enough time for the one partner that I have. Like truly, like the time that I give Melina is less than probably what most people in most normal relationships would expect to get out of their partner. So like I'm not like, the idea that I'm like juggling multiple relationships is absolutely not true. I don't even have the time for my one. So yeah.
Out of curiosity, and you don't have to answer because these are like prying questions, but how long on average do you keep up like communication and dating and whatever with somebody other than Melina?
It really depends on the person. I don't know. I think most people kind of feather out after like a few weeks. But it really depends on if we have things to do together. That's like the hard one. But that's not hard in my normal relationship too. I think that like the most important thing is probably having things that you can do with your partner or with other people, because if we don't have something, I mean, like you can only sex so many times with somebody, like before you've said all the words you can say, like, and that time period and like sending nudes and videos, or whatever, that's like a 2-week time period. If you don't have anything else to talk about afterwards or some form of like activity to do together, like it's probably not gonna last much longer than that. So I would say that like for random sexual encounters, it can be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. And then for closer friends that I develop after that, I mean, it can be for years sometimes, or like months, or a long time, it just depends.
And when you hit that wall of like, there's not much else to talk about, do you have to be transparent with that person about it, or does it generally just like fall apart on both sides without needing to make that clear?
I think usually it just kind of happens pretty organically. I feel bad about it because I don't want to like, there are some people that I could still be sexual with, but I don't want to like, I feel really bad when I'm messaging somebody just for sexual things. Even when people say they're okay with it, I think that they have the feeling that they're getting used. So I try to avoid that, like just, hey, I'm horny by the way, let's talk, I want to fuck you, right? Or whatever, right? Or some shit like that. But I think like usually that's pretty organic for me. Like I'll be talking to somebody and then we kind of like, we'll go from like with new people that I talk to, we message like every day, and then it'll maybe like once every other day, and then maybe like once a week, and then we don't really have much to talk about. And then like, yeah, that's it. That's like a huge problem that I have with people. I just don't have much. But that's because like my interests and everything are very, this sounds shitty to say, but they're very male dominated interests. Like it's very, very rare that I find like girls that want to talk a lot about like politics or philosophy. That's like incredibly rare.
Melina says they go crazy, so I guess there's two sides to that, but
I think that a lot of people think that Melina's I wouldn't trust anything Melina says about any of this. I love her to death. I think the problem is that what happens is there's a lot of people that this is a really hard conversation to have in a humble way, okay? So I'll just be completely frank. I think that a lot of people think that they can engage with sexual relationships with people and not fall really hard for them, and they can't. And they think that, but then when they engage in it, they fuck their minds up completely. So that's a big problem that we have. And then I think there are certain types of people, I don't know why or what it is, but I think that there are certain types of people that are like, you know, like the manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There are some girls you just like get obsessed with. I think I might be that type of person where people like get really obsessed with me or whatever, even if I'm very upfront at the start where it's like, hey, like, just, you know, like I'm not gonna like probably date you or like anything like that or whatever, but people like fool themselves and they're like, oh, it'll be fine, like I'll change his mind later. And I think that a lot of our problems kind of stem from that kind of stuff, unfortunately. But
yeah, maybe it's from the movies that I'm watching, but it seems to be a consistent thing that the manic pixie dream girl also has some problems or is a little bit of an asshole sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And I feel like and this isn't from a relationship thing, just like a personal thing, like getting to know you a little bit more. It's easy to ignore your dickishness. And I think like...
For my dickishness?
Yeah.
Like me personally?
Yeah.
I think that God, this sounds really sociopathic to say. Okay. I think that there are a lot of ways that people communicate with each other. I've kind of walked through this before. I think that I'm either very autistic or a little sociopathic. So it's one of these two. I don't know what it is. I don't really care to diagnose it. What I do know is that for a lot of my life, like social interactions, like a lot of it doesn't come naturally to me. Like I have to sit and think about it or understand it because so much of it seems so stupid. Like for instance, like when I'm like 18 or 19 or whatever, like somebody might mention like, oh, like going to a funeral, and I'll unironically say some shit like, dude, they're already fucking dead. Why the fuck would you waste your money? Like this is actually so fucking stupid to me. Like funerals are for the living. Like dumb, and that's genuinely truly how I feel. I think that there are a lot of people that identify this way, but they say shit like this because they think it's edgy. But for me, like that's honestly how I feel. Why the fuck would I care about a fucking funeral? I don't know. Like the person's not gonna say shit to me. But like, so I think in the process of like watching interactions and understanding how people feel about things and really thinking about other people's feelings, I think that I'm in an area now where I think I have a really good understanding of why people feel the way they do about certain types of things, especially when it comes to interactions with me. So when you say like, for instance, that like I'm very dickish, when I'm on stream, I have a very dickish personality. I come off as a very aggressive, confident asshole or whatever. When I'm talking to somebody privately, I'm usually not like that because it's not the kind of person I am. However, that's like a really big trigger, I think, for some people to get feelings where they are very, 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 very special. Because if you see somebody like me that's like very mean and very rude and very antagonistic on stream all the time, but then you talk to me in private, I'm nice, you get a feeling in your head where it's like, oh my God, I think that I alone am bringing this out of him. I think that I'm very special, right? People will get those types of thoughts in their head, I think. I think that's the thing that happens more than, yeah. And this is something that I was very aware of in my early streaming days, that I'm more aware of now, and I try not to like play off of, because I think I played off of like contradictions like that early on, and I think I was pretty we'll say manipulative with stuff like that, but I'm like way more conscientious of it now, so I don't try to do shit like that intentionally, at least.
Okay. I didn't even think about that angle, but then again, I'm not like privy to those details. Because I would say you are still dickish in person. Like you do nice things for sure, and and I think it's because you have to think more about this stuff and it doesn't come naturally to you. You are like thinking of ways to be nice or like ways to like give gestures that are nice. But you are still dickish, I would say.
Yeah, but I think that having a bigger contrast in personalities makes the nice things stand out way, way, way more.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds really shitty to say, but I think that there are interactions I have where like if a nice guy would look at me, like the quote unquote nice guy, they would just see me as like an abusive, manipulative piece of shit. But like if I go out of my way to do something nice for somebody, I think it comes off as really, really, really cool, because normally I'm like a kind of dickish person. So like I can play off of that sometimes, if that makes sense. Not like intentionally.
They've unlocked a different side of you. Or
basically, yeah, it's like the feeling they get. As dumb as it sounds, I think that people get that feeling sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that like probably like the combination of like the fact that I might be talking to multiple people, and I think that this sounds so stupid. This is gonna sound a little red pilly, but I think people can feel like neediness and desperation sometimes, and that is absolutely not me. If I feel like somebody's fucking around or playing games, I'll ditch immediately. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna chase somebody around. I think that dynamic also gets people a little bit more hooked in, because now they're like, okay, hold on, this fucking nerdy piece of shit, like I should be able to get this person. So I think it makes people try harder as well.
Interesting. Oh man, it must be tough to balance that. Like, you don't want to send this signal or play this game of like being different with people, because like I feel like you do, like, I don't know, I feel like there's a natural urge to be nicer to like people that you want to get along with or have a relationship with. So it would be tough to have to work around that, now that I think about it.
Yeah, you just have to you just have to be careful with it, because if I start overloading somebody on that, as Anna called it, it could be like love bombing or whatever, right? It can be like really overwhelming for somebody if they're like, easily manipulatable. I don't know, which I think a lot of people kind of are.
Given that you mentioned Anna, is this like a recent thing that you've started to think about, or is it more of an older thing that slipped with her or something?
No, I've thought about it a long, long, long time. Because I said because I think in my early 20s, because my ideas were these other people that I'm messing with are adults. They should know it. Like if they get mind fucked, that's their fault. That's how I used to think about it. So then it used to basically be every conversation was like, what are the right words and things that I need to say to unlock what I want? So usually like there are conversational tricks that you can employ. So like pet names are really effective. Saying somebody's name is incredibly effective in a conversation. When you say somebody's name, that's like a really, really, really deep and special thing. As stupid as that sounds, like eye contact in conversations is very, 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 very important. There are like a lot of these like little things that like when you start ramping these up, assuming that the other person doesn't fucking hate you, like you can almost always get what you want out of this person. It's so easy to do it. But you know that you're putting their mind in a place where they're gonna get fucked by the end of this. And that's what. But back then I was like, oh fuck it, who cares? Like, I don't give a fuck. But I've gotten more conscientious of that. That's why I joked on stream. I don't know how many people know this here now. I've told Melina this too. That like I think like 4 or 5 years ago, like I have a rule where like if I meet a new person, I wait for 2 weeks before I do any physical thing with them ever, because I don't want to like lure them into some fucked up shit. Because if I'm like super hyped on a person because I just met them, I might like start turning it up in a really toxic way where it will be toxic for them when I lose interest, which will inevitably happen. So yeah, I try to be. I think I'm really responsible with how I approach. It sounds dumb, but I've always wanted somebody to like leak like my interactions with them, because I am incredibly like considerate when it comes to how I interact with people sexually, or even like romantically. And you'll see that like if my DMs ever got leaked with somebody, it's literally like, hey, like, are you comfortable with me giving you a ride, or would you rather get an Uber if you're not comfortable? Or like, hey, like, do you want to come stay the night? Like if you aren't comfortable doing anything, that's cool. I can get you an Uber back if you don't want me to drive. Like all of my conversations are like that. Like, I'm very, very, very responsible with shit. That's why I've never got like Me Too'd or anything. So I think that like generally how I handle people now is like about as responsible as I could be.
Yeah. I would call that maturity. Like, I feel like you're very mature. You're very aware of like what your responsibilities are in an interaction, or like thinking about how the other person might feel about something. And that's the nice stuff that I would say that you do. Like, yeah, that's nice of you. Still dickish, but you know, that stuff is very nice.
Thanks, I try.
Also, on a side note, like, don't take this in a weird way, but you have like really like striking eyes as well, so maybe that works better for you than most people because you got those like crazy eyes.
I feel like that's true of here's two things. First of all, I think that everybody has really nice eyes. I think that's true. I've never met anybody with ugly eyes before. I think that a lot of people are scared to look at each other in the eyes sometimes. It feels kind of weird sometimes, but I think that's an important thing. I also think something I've noticed I especially noticed this when I started hanging out a little bit more with bows. I think that it's really important to be really expressive with your body. I like it when I'm having a conversation with somebody. I like people that like move around a lot. I think that's cool. It makes me feel like I'm plugged into like a very human experience that I'm not getting online. And I think I'm pretty emotive with like my body and like, being able to, I think most people also really appreciate it when you can get very passionate about something like very quickly. I think people like that a lot too. And that's a really rare trait to find in a lot of people. So like if somebody says something, you think it's dumb rather than like, I don't know, that sounds kind of silly to me. Rather be like, what the fuck? That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. I think that people like that, like that wider gamut of emotion, like is really attractive. I think most people enjoy that. Yeah.
I'm writing that down. I've never really thought about that. Bose is really good about that.
Yeah, she's very, she is 100%. Yeah. Most people that you'll see me with are probably good at that because those are the types of people that I enjoy being around generally for longer periods of time.
Yeah. And to be clear to the chat, because I'm not sure which way they took that, like you have pretty eyes. Like you've got very like blue eyes or whatever. They have like lots of different color to them. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's not like,
I know that people say that, but like there's a lot of people that have brown eyes that feel like oh no, I don't have green eyes or blue eyes. Like, oh, I'm fucked. I've never looked at a girl with brown eyes and been like, and I've dated like and been with a lot of like Mexican chicks and shit. I think all eyes are really pretty. I think brown eyes are really pretty. I think they are. People get really sad when they have brown eyes sometimes because like, oh, it's so plain and boring. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I accept and I appreciate your compliment, but yeah, I don't know. I think everybody's eyes are usually really pretty. People just are shy about it or whatever.
Maybe I'm projecting. I have brown eyes and I don't really think they're very interesting because you can't really see anything in them. I don't know. I get that though. Probably not good to say because people with brown eyes are in the chat. And they're like, fuck,
I think your eyes are very pretty. Okay.
Oh, thanks, bro. I had another note about something here. Now, this gesticulation thing, like, what do you do to do that? I wonder, because you're not exactly like a super animated dude in that regard.
Gesticulation, what do you mean?
Like, how did you kind of implement that advice about communicating with your body more?
I think I do that pretty naturally. As long as I'm interested in a topic, it just depends on what's going on. If I've got a high level of interest in the topic, I think I'll be really emotive. If I'm bored, then I'm not. Which also sucks because it's hard for me to fake that, and partners that I'm with can tell if I'm not very plugged into the conversation. It's usually very immediately noticeable.
Yeah, you got that laser focus when you care about something, but when you don't, it seems like you're very not there.
Yeah, true.
Although, what do I know? We just got a purely parasocial relationship. I gotta start calling you Destiny all the time instead of Steven. That's what people are telling me.
Oh man, people! I saw that tweet. That person was crazy.
And they blocked me.
Oh, why did you respond to him?
Yeah, I did. And then I
you.
refused to argue. I'm like, I'm not arguing with you. You said some really rude shit, and I just wanted to correct the record. You can go ahead and shout in the void of space, and they fucking blocked me. I was like, damn. I never get blocked, dude. Feels bad. Is it weird to call you Steven? I guess now is as good a time as any. I thought you said that's okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I prefer Steven to Destiny. Destiny's like if I'm playing games or whatever maybe, but Destiny's like very much a gamer name. I don't look very much like a Destiny, no matter how much I vote for Biden.
Because that's the one thing people give me a lot of shit about. People even email me about that shit. They're like, hey, you got to watch out for this guy. He shows signs of this, that, and this. And don't get too attached to him and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know.
Since he came to LA to visit me, someone... oh, my God.
What happened?
Someone sent me an email. It's like an essay. Lily, I could tell you're really stressed recently. And I know you're not quite aware of why, but I know. And I know the reason. And forgive me for saying this, but he's dangerous for you.
Oh my God.
And then they were like, he speaks really well. He knows how to use his words, so you gotta be careful. Like this. I'm like, what the heck?
Steven, sweet talker.
Wait, I think I actually also got a DM about Destiny.
How many of you guys have gotten bad messages
on
about
Discord?
me?
Fuck, I'm trying to find
I'm
it.
waiting for mine. Can someone make a good copy pasta, please?
Oh no.
Thank you.
Steven, let's...
Like, watch out. Steven's like a fuck something.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, and they like... I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember what else. I just skimmed it.
I think I'm probably one of the nicer. Actually, I'll jerk myself off. I think I'm the nicest, most genuine person you will meet on this platform. If I really like somebody, I've gone really far out of my way to help a lot of different people here that I have absolutely fuck all to gain from. And I think I've done that pretty consistently throughout most of my career. I think when people think of like who's a nice person, they usually just think of like who sucks up to other people the most. But like I've tried to help people as much as I can, and I think like I'm relatively like I don't go hard on people unless they go hard on me first or whatever. But since every now and then I'll review somebody's things and I'll say like, oh, that opinion was dumb, people think like, oh god, he's the meanest person in the world. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything to what Vosh says about like once you're in his bad graces, it's like you get no charitability from him kind of deal? Because it seems like with the Batman thing, it does seem like there is some kind of a switch there. I don't know if you would be like over the top or you go out of your way, but it does seem like with things like the Demonmama thing, you're okay with just like making shit up and throwing it out there.
I mean, like, it's probably true to some extent, but I think that, like I said, I think I verbalize a lot of stuff that most people do. They just don't want to admit it. I think everybody has their limit with somebody where they, like, people, like, it's funny because he'll say that, like, once you're in his bad grace, you won't do it. But then he literally says to me, like, I'm never associating with Destiny again. So, I mean, like, I don't think it's, like, that abnormal. That people are like, yeah, once the person's, like, hit this level, like, I can't do it anymore, or, like, I can't tolerate it anymore.
I guess, but different people handle that point in different ways. I think him saying he doesn't want to talk with you anymore, interact with you anymore is different than some of the things that you do with people you dislike, right? Like making shit up. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I mean, he made a whole bunch of shit up about me in that fucking video. So, I mean, I don't know if it was that different. I'm just more cognitive about it.
Did he make a bunch of shit up? Because I was going through it, and a lot of those points are substantiated by evidence.
Almost all of those were not true. Let's see. The J.K. Rowling one was just completely not true. I think, like, everybody on stream remembers me going through that J.K. Rowling and be like, man, this is some turfy shit. Him trying to present that as though, like, I, like, agreed with her was insane. I'm trying to think of.
I think the manipulator thing was probably another instance of like, oh, okay, well, you can't really. The evidence you're giving doesn't really support this. He's pretending that he was friends with you or something. I think is like a big...
The idea that I ban all criticism in my community, like, yeah, people joke about that a lot, especially because when I play League, I start banning shit. But I don't like actually do that. And it's funny because I don't remember if we saw that or not. I don't remember you coming to that. But he would say over and over again how Destiny bans all criticism. Destiny bans all criticism. And then he would point to all of these Reddit threads where he's like, look at these people. Even they're critical of Destiny. They're saying all this. And he's like, okay, well, wait, do I ban all the criticizers or not? You know, like. Yeah, I think a lot of that got hyped up a lot.
Yeah, you focused on that part, but I do think that his initial criticism about you flipping a switch and saying things that like people let you get away with, I think that's fair because like the website thing, like the Demonmama thing, he had some good instances or examples.
Sure, he did, but like he downplays his side of it. Like, I'm sorry, but there are people that would kill somebody if they lost $250,000 a year of income because of shit they did. Like, and people seem to like, again, and I understand this, and I have this problem in my relationships, is that if I'm getting fucked in a relationship, I don't think I get any credit for it because I don't really cry. I don't really like get upset or outwardly or whatever. So it seems like it's really easy to kind of like take advantage of me or walk all over me because, oh, it's fucking Steven's fine. Who cares, right? But I notice it happens online too, where I deal with a lot of shit. I deal with more shit on this platform than probably 99% of other people, even larger streamers than me, just because of the nature of what I do. For the most part, I take it all on the chin or whatever. But like, damn, dude, when like this guy's fucking roommate and disgusting fucking girlfriend are like trying to get my entire career nuked from orbit, like online, and then manage to be partially successful, and then like they fucking celebrate about it. This is a guy that like, holy shit, like I legitimately think that there are people that would be in my situation that would fucking kill someone over shit like that. Like, that's insane. But you know, I don't know. That's.
You laughed at that vase example I gave in my in my video, but I do feel like you get like that when you do something
absolutely
bad, like this now.
I don't even think it's that crazy. Yeah, hell yeah. If somebody's gonna accuse me of some crazy shit over and over and over again, eventually I'm gonna snap and just do it. If I get all the downsides of doing it anyway, well then fuck it, man. I'll have some fun. I don't give a fuck. Like, people already treat me as like the fucking devil, so yeah, why not bring out our inner Satan every now and then? It is really annoying to get accused over and 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 over again of shit that I don't do. And like people have all these crazy stories in my life that like I dox people and I'm like doing all this crazy shit. It's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's insane to me.
Although the way you handle drama, it does leave like a taste in the mouth. Like I will say, whether that was this drama with Vosh about that, where you threatened his website, or the drama with Bob, where you coordinated all these things among all the victims, like you can feel one way or the other about how justified you were in either of those or any of those. But I do think that like once something is going on or once you snap into that mode, it does seem a little bit scary. And I've thought in the past, like, damn, if I was on the other side of that, like,
yeah,
you know,
good, it should. But it's really rare that I turn that on. Like, I don't do that unless somebody's super really trying to fuck me over. But if we're chill, we're chill. But like, man, you gotta understand, like, if you come at me, I'm gonna try to fucking destroy you. I don't do anything to deserve that shit. And I'm bored as fuck. I don't get to do fun shit like that anymore. So if you're gonna test me, right, you're basically like, you're like capturing the taken dude's daughter, right? I have a very special set of skills that I developed over a long period of time of fighting with people on the internet. And if you're gonna awaken the beast, all right, well, fuck it. Yeah, of course we're gonna have some fucking fun. Especially when most people can be completely destroyed by like 2 or 3 recorded conversations. Like, people aren't even good at what they do when they try to fuck with me. So yeah, of course we're gonna fucking go hard. Yeah, why not? But I mean, like, that's good. I mean, there should be some level of fear there. I don't know why people seem to have this idea. It doesn't seem to work. Like, as soon, like, I don't know why people seem to think that's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with Destiny today. Maybe it's a really good idea. Like, okay, I mean, if you want to, sure, we can do it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Good, fuck it, dude. If you're gonna go that, if you're gonna try to fuck with me or go that hard, then yeah, reap the consequences.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to hear you just like own up to it a little bit, because yeah, I mean, that does seem to be a thing, and that I think was a big part of his point, or at least that's how I read it. Like, of the points in the video that seemed to be directed at other creators, I think that was one of them. And I just, you know, I mean, if you're aware that that's there, are you also connecting the dots then that maybe that's why like different people have like blacklists and you're on it and stuff? Like, do you think that contributes to that? And do you ever do the mental arithmetic there, or not? You don't really care about that too much?
There's something that I've had with me for maybe about 12 or 13 years. I don't know if it's good or not. I remember this because I considered some types of like cosmetic stuff when I was like in my early 20s when I was first trying. I thought about like doing like Invisalign and like whitening my teeth and all that. And then I started to think that I view a lot of these things as kind of like filters. If there are people that don't interact with me because they're worried that they're gonna do something that's gonna make me fuck them up, then like, I don't care, then fuck it, then don't interact with me. Like, I truly do believe that most of the people that exist in this space are disgusting fucking people, and I don't really give a fuck if they like me or not. But it's also like that kind of mentality is why I've made it so long here without having like big emotional breakdowns. I truly don't give a fuck what any of these losers think about me. So, I mean, like, it is a double-edged sword. There are some people, I'm not going to say who, but I lost an activation a few weeks ago for a sponsored game because they saw my stuff with Casey trying to Bob 7. They're like, we don't know if we're comfortable doing this. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, I used to be way worse about it, dude. You have no idea the world that I used to create. One time a sponsor didn't let me do something because of something that I had, and I wrote a whole article about how fuck this company in the asshole. I'm never gonna do work with it. It was Gigabyte, the motherboard manufacturer. Yeah, that was when we used to be super spicy, but yeah.
Huh. Because like looking at having like a more or less fresh like image or whatever the fuck you would want to call it, I worry about that stuff, and I just wonder, like, it doesn't seem like you did. Like, if anything, it seems like you were way worse before than you are now. Like,
I used to be way, way, way worse. Yeah. But I think I just didn't weigh the pros and cons of like being crazy as much. So
would your advice to somebody who hasn't hit the crazy thing yet to be, don't do that, or not care?
Everything I'm talking about is from my personal point of view. I wouldn't recommend anybody live the lifestyle I live in, because I think I've matured a little bit, and now I've realized that like I don't think it's very realistic to expect people to process things the way that I do. I don't care if everybody on the fucking internet hates me, or there's some group of people that have to get together and talk about how evil I am or whatever. Like, fuck it. Like, if that's what they want to do, go for it. But I think for a lot of people, getting like, I don't know if you'd say desocialized or like stigmatized or ostracized in that way will fuck with a lot of people's heads a lot. There's a lot of streamers that have problems with that, being excluded from streamer groups or having problems and shit. Yeah.
Well, it does really fuck with you. Like, it does. That doesn't bother you at all, really?
No, I really, truly don't care. If I did, I think I would be done streaming, or I would make a bigger effort to befriend more people or whatever.
I just feel like you respond by going nuclear and like attacking the person, but it does seem like it does affect you in some way, no? No, it doesn't really. It really doesn't.
This is like, but I told you, like, this is what I had to learn, like, for relationships with my partner and stuff. It's because, like, it's really dumb to expect other people to process things in this way, because other people will get really fucked up by it. And then if I expect, like, my partner to, they're going to get fucked up. And it's probably not a fair position to put them in.
Yeah. Because it is rough, and it does seem like there's more and more people and things and topics and whatever that I'm learning like are like that. Like, oh, don't talk about this, or you're never ever going to be able to have this opportunity. And it's tough to know like which of those opportunities are the meaningful ones to, you know, hold your opinion or your coverage for, and which are not. And I don't know. And it doesn't seem like you can take that all or nothing, like, oh, I'm going to say it anyways. I'm going to say what I want to say about everything and not care at all. Like, it doesn't feel like that's like a reasonable option to choose.
Not all the time. Yeah, it depends. It used to be the case, but yeah. Because it used to be the way that I would function is like, I'll say or do whatever. I don't give a fuck about a sponsor. I already make more money than I ever thought I'd make in my entire life. Because my experience before this was cleaning carpets, okay, for like $1,500 a month, like fucking 90 hours a week, okay? That life was miserable. So I don't care if I don't have like a sponsor or whatever. I'll say whatever. But back then, the only thing you could lose would be like sponsor opportunities. It wouldn't be like your Twitch account getting banned. That was never on the table 5 or 10 years ago. So things have changed, and you should definitely be like a little bit more careful, because now people can like, they've come after more and more and more. They'll destroy your entire fucking life if they can. Yeah. So it is different now. I'll say that for sure.
And like, oh man, I wish I could agree with the conservatives more on stream about this, but this is one of those takes. Like, it does seem like if we continue to go in that direction, like there are things we are going to say today that everybody will think is okay and are the norm that are not going to be okay 10 years from now. And if we're still treating social faux pas or political faux pas this way, like you may get fucked thinking you're in the in-group today, but you won't be tomorrow.
Did you see... Or go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, people mention this with fascism all the time, and the Antifa people get that with fascism, that, you know, you think you're in the in-group and you're the race or whatever that people want to protect today, but the second that definition changes, you could just as easily be one of the people that you're ostracizing.
Yeah. Did you ever see why that Vogue teen writer or whatever got canceled? Did you see the racist comments that she'd made when she was a kid?
No, what were they?
I really wish I had these in front of me, so somebody might look them up. I don't want to misquote him, but I'm pretty sure it was literally something along the lines of like, I hate getting failed by like this English TA or this Asian TA. It was something like that. Like that was her racist comment, and she lost her job over it. And I think she was 17 when she tweeted that, and she was like 28 when she was working her job. It was like it was unbelievable.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was pretty insane.
In a weird way, do you ever feel like we're in a privileged position being online, since we can figure out different ways of like monetizing the group of people that want to support us, and we could avoid that in a way that maybe people with normal jobs can't?
Well, like we're more conscientious of what we say because we are living and breathing it every day, so we know what can fuck you in that sense. Yeah.
Because sometimes I think like, even if tomorrow everybody decided to hate on me, like I think there's enough people that like me that like maybe I could still get by, and that gives me a little bit of hope about this. But like if my mom got canceled tomorrow and she got fucked, like I don't know how many options she has available to her. Like I don't know how quickly she'd be able to find another job or something. And that, you know, in that way, I wonder if we have it a little bit better. Yeah. Even if we're being looked at all the time.
It just depends on... Yeah, it just depends on how hard you get canceled, I guess, yeah. Because we're okay now, but, like, it's conceivable that something bad enough could happen that, like, now it's your fuck, like, this was too much or whatever, right?
Yeah. Although, and I don't know what your experience is because you've talked to a lot more content creators than I have, there's a select group of people that seem to think they're immune to this. That, no, I could honestly, I could go out and shoot somebody tomorrow and I would be fine. It doesn't even matter.
Who thinks, how? I don't know anybody that thinks that.
Okay, good to know it's a minority.
Because I think most people feel like they would get fucked if they weren't careful. But I'm sorry. That sounded like a huge challenge when I said that to you. I'm not saying that you haven't met anybody this is, but I feel like most people I know are pretty afraid of like getting canceled or fucked.
I think that's the reasonable thing to believe. I've just met enough people now that don't seem to be fazed by it that I'm beginning to wonder if that's like another opinion that's out there.
Oh, I wonder if the types of people you're talking about are people that feel like their opinion is very safe, and so generally they would never have to worry about stuff like that. Maybe that they're like in the right politically, so they wouldn't have to worry about that. I was like that for a while. I figured like I'm not gonna get canceled. Like anybody that knows anything about me knows that I'm not like fucking racist or knows that I don't like have any like hateful. Like I'm incredibly progressive in all of my social views. But half the internet thinks that I hate BLM and wants them all to be mowed down by white nationalists. So.
Well, I mean, you did give the blessing, so.
I mean, in that one like clipped thing, sure. But like, if you listen to the whole conversation, it is wholly unambiguous about my stances. Nobody would come around. If you listen to that conversation, you'd never come out thinking like, oh wow, Destiny hates BLM. You'd never think that. It was impossible.
Yeah, unless all of BLM came out tomorrow with arsony as like a main way of getting things done, they're probably fine based on what you said. After that, like, you're really not like more careful about some of your takes or something? Did that impact your belief on this at all, or were you more resolute than ever after that?
Yeah, I mean, I try to be careful all the time. I think I just got a little heated then, but I should have said rioters instead of protesters who burn things down. I wonder if it would have been different. But remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed. Oh, really? What?
Wow, your music theory brain is so big, but your head is the proportional size.
Thank you.
Bonus meme, Pepe wins.